Made me a little tentative, to be honest with you. First up, Ravens in Pittsburgh, Lamar versus Russ. Lamar traditionally has struggled against the Steelers. Brew, it's his worst passer rating against any opponent with a total touchdown to turnover ratio of 4-10. Again, worse than any opponent. This is scored, Brew, and these are both your guys.
Yeah.
So must win for Lamar.
It is a must win for Lamar and the Ravens. All right, first of all, Lamar, you just spelled it out. The graphics that you had, I had a lot of those numbers.
You did?
Yeah, 1 and 3. He's 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I don't know if that was on there.
Yeah.
Against and only averaging 145 yards a game against the Steelers. Hasn't beaten them since 2019. Did you have that? I don't think so.
Sacked 20 times.
Yeah, sacked 20. The coach had it too. So it's a must win for Lamar just to get over the hump, right? For the team, they win this game. They're in first place in that tough AFC North. They get a great chance to be that number 2 seed because they beat Buffalo if it gets down to head-to-head. If you're the number 2 seed, you at least don't have to see the Chiefs until the championship game, and maybe somebody else beats the Chiefs for them. So they don't have to even see Kansas City. So this is big. Secondly, thirdly, they need a feel-good win. Cincinnati was a great win, but it was like, man, our defense got scorched. So they've had some. Denver, not a great team. Cleveland, the week before that, they lost. This would be a feel-good win if they can score on this defense and their defense can hold Pittsburgh, which has been averaging 30 a game.
Yeah, it's a little strange when you look at his numbers against Pittsburgh because he's only played him half as many times as he's played Cincinnati and the Browns just through his injuries. Yep. But I don't see this as a must-win. I see this, and this is a little bit outside the box, as a must-beat Travis Hunter game. I'm thinking we go ahead, we play well on offense, then we throw him back in on defense. He plays a little bit of safety. That lifts up the secondary. That takes care of the big plays. Boom, Lamar Jackson gets an interception to end the game.
He would get the MVP
going
for that.
for these
Must
points.
be Travis.
So
Coach
probably a little too cute.
So hold on. So you guys had that I didn't have the Lamar. You said he's 1 and 3 against the Steelers. That's their rival.
I got him as 2
1
and
and
4.
3.
I got 2 and 4.
Yeah, it's 1 and 3.
1 and 3 as a starter.
Where
I
you
think
get-
I think he's
2 and 4.
No,
2 and 4.
No.
Did you get it from Josh?
No,
I did my own.
I think he's 1 and 3 in games
But
he
yeah, 'cause
starts
2
and
of them were
finishes.
his rookie year.
Yeah, game dude. So 1 and 3 as a starter. So he's 1 and 3 against the Steelers, 1 and 5 against the Chiefs, and 2 and 5 in the playoffs. So that's 4 and 13 for a guy that wins 75% of his games. But we're certain that that it's unfair to ask if Lamar Jackson in big spots might get a little tight. I know that we said that it's not
he
like.
hasn't beaten him because he's tight?
Well, I don't know. I know that when he plays the team of the conference, his divisional rival in playoff games, he plays his worst, and against everyone else, he has legendary numbers. What I will say is, I think this is a must-win for Lamar's MVP candidacy.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how many historic norms we're going to bend for Lamar to win his 3rd MVP. It's one thing to not be the 1 or the 2 seed, but if they lose this game, the MVP is going to be a 10-7, 11-6 quarterback. That's just not what it's been.
True.
It's been a quarterback for quarterbacks. They've been the 1 or 2 seed every year for the last dozen of them, and the last one who wasn't, Peyton Manning. They had the 2nd best record in football. The team with the best record was the division winner. So I think that because he won last year and because there's going to be some hesitancy for him to already be a 3-time MVP. If they are a wild card team, a 5 or a 6 seed, that could really hurt his chances. So I think it's a must-win for his MVP case.
Okay, let's unpack this in a few different ways. Of course, we know Nick Wright has to knock Lamar Jackson, say that he gets tight in these games, essentially choking. That, let's say what he's saying out loud. He's saying that Lamar Jackson can't handle the moment, can't handle the pressure. And yeah, sure, whatever you say. But I guess he can handle the pressure against the Bengals and stuff. Like I don't understand. Like that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, quite frankly. But that guy is the one that gets a little tight. But anyway, here's the thing. Do I think that I was trying to get it where it showed the stats of him versus the Steelers. It's a little bit hard to get it. But what I think is this is I think that ultimately Lamar needs to win this game to signal that things are different. That since his numbers haven't been great, which I will get up here. This is what I was trying to get set up. This is obviously not great, obviously when we look at this in isolation for Lamar. And by beating the Steelers, or at the very least just playing significantly better, because I think this is more, maybe it's not so much a must win, but a must Lamar play great to signal things are different. I'm a better player. This stretch of games 1 and 3 is actually not representative. There's other reasons why this unfolded, whether it be because of my youth, because of injuries, because of, hey, I got to play some bad games and it just so happens it was against the Steelers, like whatever it may be, that this is actually a way more limited sample size and doesn't actually represent anything of value. That's what he gets to. If he struggles again, and let's say he doesn't play well and it's just not good and the Steelers win, I don't know where you can have the confidence then that things will be different for the Ravens versus the Chiefs in the playoffs. Like that, it's like you wouldn't be able to have that same level of confidence. Things will be different. If he wins this game and plays again significantly better and dare I say ball out and just looks like the MVP that we know him to be, then you could say, yeah, of course that's what Lamar did. I don't care about your 4-game stretch against the Steelers. We can isolate plenty of games and have, no matter what quarterback it is, Tom Brady, Mahomes, whoever, of course we can find a stretch of games and a sample size of games that make this quarterback not look so good. But just stop it. This is just how this is just numbers being numbers. This isn't the reality of the actual truth. That's what he gets to kind of put to bed, or at least put a major kind of rock in that argument. And so, but if he doesn't, if he loses and he plays bad, then it's like, is this who? It starts to add weight to what Nick Wright is saying. To be very clear, I completely disagree with Nick, 100%. But if he plays poorly and can't step up and win this game, or just play great, then it just gives someone like Nick more fuel for that argument. And that ends up being problematic to a degree. It really does, and I don't think that can be denied. In terms of the MVP, I don't care. I'm like not even really going to touch, because okay, if he loses and now he's not the MVP, who are we saying is the MVP? Is it Jaden Daniels? Is it Kyler Murray? Because under that logic, what Nick is saying, they have too many losses. So is he saying it's got to be Patrick Mahomes, the guy who's obviously been carried by his defense? Like who's the MVP then? You can make the argument Josh Allen, but then they say, what about the head-to-head between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen? It just, I don't know, which is why I don't really care to have the discussion about who's going to be the MVP after this week. It doesn't really matter. But I will say this, though. Winning this game and winning the division, of course, matters, I think, more than it has in years past, mainly because of the way this season is unfolding and the way how there's so many teams here. It seems to me that there's more dangerous teams this year than there were last year. Or the level of eliteness out of these teams, it feels a little bit more equal. So to me, this year, more than last year, this year more feels like it's the definition of any given Sunday. And so I think come time playoffs, yeah, you do want to lock in a high seed. You do want to lock in that number 2 seed, whatever it may be, because that is going to put you in a significantly better position to get through and get to the AFC Championship game, etc., etc. I think last year there was a few teams that you would be like, yeah, let's bring it on, right? Even the Texans, maybe they felt dangerous to a degree, but it was like I didn't think the Texans were going to beat the Ravens. I know Nick Wright said that CJ Stroud was going to play better than Lamar Jackson. I remember that take. And that take didn't age too well now, did it? But it was like, I didn't have those strong senses, right? Like, I had a lot of games where I'm like, I trust this team, I trust that team, trust this team, trust that team. Not to say that the outcomes unfolded the way how I thought they were, but it was still more clear to me. This year, I just think come time playoffs, if you have confidence in, and sorry, Ravens fans, the Bills versus the Ravens versus the Chiefs versus the Bills, I'm trying to think of what the other random teams will be in there. Even the Broncos. We saw what the Broncos. I mean, that's a perfect example. The Broncos could be a wild card team, and they had that win against the Chiefs. They had that win. Moving forward, if this was last year and it was the Broncos, and I don't mean last year in terms of exactly the level of that the Broncos are, you would say the Broncos have zero chance at beating the Chiefs in the playoffs. Zero. And yet here they are. Again, I know they beat them last year, but I just use them as just a filler. Is that there was too many teams going into the playoffs. No one thought that the Steelers, maybe that would be the better example. I did not think the Steelers were going to beat the Bills or somehow make a run in the playoffs. I just did not think that. This year, the Steelers can make a run. I fully believe they can, just like I believe the Ravens can, just like I believe the Chiefs can, like I believe the Bills can. There's just the way how this season unfolds. So a game like this, the stakes just get even higher. It does matter more, significantly more from my viewpoint. And it will affect the seeding, and it will affect home field advantage and whether you're winning the division or wild card in the seeding and all of that. Obviously, division games for the most part are always important, but I think it's more often than not, especially with these top teams, it's totally fair game to split, go 1-1, but you certainly can't, go 0-2. And like I said, for the other various reasons of his past struggles, for him to kind of put that to bed and signify this is a different team, this is a different Ravens offense, and this is a different Lamar Jackson. This is the next evolution of Lamar Jackson. Stop using numbers from 2019, 2020, whatever. I don't care about those numbers. This is a different era. We're moving on. Let's go. And he has the ability to do that. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens? Is it a must-win for them? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.